and welcome back. Today I'm here to talk about Boyhood. I'm going to do a review for Boyhood, obviously, and I cannot wait to talk about this one. It's quite a long movie. I watched it actually in two sections. It's 2 hours 45 minutes. So I watched some of it and then paused and then watched the rest. Not because I wasn't enjoying it, but just because it got really late and I hadn't noticed that it was going to be kind of as long as it was. So I was like, okay, I need to pause, go to bed, and then watch the rest the next day. And I feel like the reason I'm mentioning that is because I feel like it really kind of made a weird difference to my thoughts on it in a little way. You'll see what I mean. Basically, this movie is filmed over 12 years, which is insane and brilliant and fantastic. So this little boy on the front, he starts out as this little boy, and then he ends up being, what, does he end up being 18? Or, yeah, I mean, I don't know. He ends up being, he's a teenager, he's in his late teens, and it's so weird to see the difference in the progression between each year. Now, it's not separated into, it's not like, it doesn't say the year or the age ever throughout the movie. So you kind of like, okay, I think this is a new, different year. And you kind of just have to figure it out on your own. I quite liked that. I really did like that. It was like, oh, okay. But it did it nicely. It flowed really smoothly. But I thought it was really interesting how it didn't kind of mention it. It just was the way it was. But I enjoyed that. Now, so like I say, the little boy you probably noticed the difference with the most, but he also has an older sister who you obviously notice it with a lot of a difference, because the children obviously are going to change the most. The adults, you still notice their change, progression, and it's just basically a film about life and growing up and the struggles they go through in life. But the fact that, well, I knew it was over 12 years before watching the movie, as if you're watching this video you will know as well, but I never realised how it would seem like so much time. 12 years really is. Like, I never even thought about it. Like, oh yeah, 12 years, which is a really long time, but it never kind of went into my brain. Like, 12 years is like, it's so long. That's like over half of my life would be 12 years, like, so, like, that's, more than half of his life. And it was just weird to watch it, and like I say, I watched, a majority of it, about 2 hours of it, then I had 45 minutes left, and I was like, wow, we've gone through so much. I mean, 2 hours is long anyway, but we've gone through so much in these 2 hours. And then the 45 minutes, there was still so much to go through because, like, again, 12 years is so long. And that kind of wasn't in my brain before watching this, so I was like, wow. But yes, this movie was so interesting and so different than anything I'd seen before, because it was kind of, you felt something watching the characters change and grow up throughout the years, because it was real time. It wasn't just like they got a new actor in, It was the same boy, and you could really tell, and it kind of felt more, you felt more personal towards it, because you'd seen the little boy when he was little, and it was really him, and now he actually is this grown-up boy, and it's so weird. But yeah, I really liked some of the things that they had to go through in the movie, and that was really interesting. I think there's a lot of things that a lot of people will be able to relate to, in lots of different ways, because like I say, it's over a long time, there's lots of things that happen, and I think everyone will have something in this movie but oh yeah, I can relate to that. And so that was really interesting, and gosh, I don't really know exactly what to say, because I don't want to give too much away. I think you should definitely check out this movie. It's inspiring, it's about life, it feels truthful and honest. It feels like just kind of like life. It's not anything, I don't know how to explain it. I didn't think about this before I did the review, well, did I? But that's truly how I feel. I was like, wow, it's like an insight into these people's lives. Sometimes they're just having a conversation, and it's just like you're peering into their conversation, and I kind of almost forgot that it was a film and it wasn't their life, because it kind of felt almost like it was because of the time you see go by. And it was just crazy. I love this movie. I gave it 4.5 stars. I mean, I didn't give it 5 because at a few points I was kind of just drifting, like, because they were just having conversations sometimes, which was great. The conversations were really interesting. There were so many interesting points brought up throughout this movie that I do need to go back and watch it again and think about everything, because I really like to think about things in movies when it teaches you something different. But there were so many interesting points that were brought up, and so many different thoughts that the characters had, which were like really interesting to think about yourself. And they discussed them, and I'd be like, oh, that's really interesting, I've never thought about that. So I do want to go back and watch it again and really just take it all in, each little bit. But yeah, so I really did enjoy that. But a few times, when the conversation was going on, my mind would wander a bit, and I'd be like, oh no, wait, I'm concentrating on this. But something I also found really interesting was you could kind of tell around about what year it was, simply because sometimes the music, and then sometimes basically, like, you know, he might talk about the films that he'd seen. Like, one time he mentions the films that were in the cinema at that point, and I was like, oh right, that must be then. And it was really, really fun to figure that out. And then at one point there was a song, I really loved the soundtrack to this as well, by the way, but at one point there was a song, it was the Kings of Leon song, and I knew, because I like Kings of Leon anyway, I knew that the album would only come out at, I don't know the date exactly, but in my mind I was like, oh right, wait, that didn't come out till then, so it must be around here now, because, like, you know, they did it in the real time of year, so it was really, really cool to figure, if you can figure that out, like with the pop culture references, it was really fun to be like, oh right, okay, so it must be around this year now in real time. That was fun, I really enjoyed that. I loved how it wrapped up, I loved the ending. Overall, I just really enjoyed this movie and highly recommend it. It's a long one, but it's well worth your time. It's inspiring, it's about life, it's truthful, and it was brilliant to watch and see all that work in all that time being put together in this film. So yeah, that's my review. I don't know if it's a bit of a weird review, because I think the movie is kind of very different and very unique, and so I had to kind of have its own little review about it. So hopefully you guys enjoyed what I had to say, and hopefully you'll go ahead and watch Boyhood. Let me know down in the comments below if you have seen Boyhood. Let me know your thoughts on it. It is nominated for an Oscar Best Picture movie, I believe, so we'll see how that goes. But I personally really loved it. It was fantastic. Definitely check it out if you haven't already. Thumbs up if you enjoyed this movie review of Boyhood, and I will see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching. Keep smiling, peeps. I'll see you then. Goodbye.